For 750 years, from 600 BCE to 150 CE, the Agora of Athens was the heart of Athenian political, commercial, and cultural life. It began as a simple Bronze Age burial ground in the shadow of the sacred rock upon which the Parthenon would be built. As the Parthenon developed into Athens' most sacred place, the Agora became very much of this world, a place to see and be seen, to buy and sell, to judge and be judged, and above all, to question and philosophize. We begin our tour of this important historical space with a fantasy of the Agora, created about 1,300 years after the original site was in use. Raphael created this fresco, a homage to the pagan marketplace of ideas, for, ironically, a Catholic pope. The real Agora was much dirtier than Raphael's ethereal vision in pastel, but there is an essential truth to his depiction in the school of Athens. The gritty porticos and public spaces of the real Agora provided an opportunity for intellectual exchanges that would shake the world. In the Agora, philosophers such as Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle shaped their ideas and taught their disciples. Aristotle developed the empirical method, the foundation of modern science, while strolling through the Agora. While strolling through the Agora, for instance, Zeno set up a school for Stoics in the portico of a civic building called the Painted Stowe. More enduring still is the political philosophy discussed and practiced in the Agora. It was there that democracy got its first foothold in Western civilization. Our modern notions of justice, such as a fair trial based on due process, was first tested in the buildings of the Agora. Public trials were conducted and jury service was encouraged, with jurors receiving compensation for their time and lost wages, just as they do today. In this civic space, the size of 2 football fields, Athenians pioneered the concept of citizenship. We are indebted to the Agora for the making of the modern world. So let's take a look around. Around the market are temples, courts of law, buildings for magistrates to legislate, even a mint to supply Athens with those famous owl-stamped coins. The incessant hum of daily life might pause during religious festivals, when processions moved through the Agora to reach the higher ground of the Parthenon above. In times of danger, the Agora would be vulnerable to attack, like the rest of Athens. During the Persian invasion in 480 BC, Xerxes marched into Athens unopposed after the Battle of Thermopylae and torched the city, destroying the Agora's temple of Apollo Petrus. Like Athens, the Agora was rebuilt and went on to serve the city for 600 more years. And like the ideas developed inside this space, the Agora has stood the test of time and remains an important archaeological space today. Tyler will now discuss the form, function, and content of individual structures in the Agora.
First of all, I'd like to discuss function and purpose. The Athenian Agora was originally created as a center for all to come to. It was located in the center of the ancient city in Athens. It was a large open square where citizens could come for a wide variety of purposes. It was quite literally a marketplace. However, it was also used for many other practices such as elections, dramatic performances, religious processions, military drills, and athletic competition. It was the heart of the ancient city, as it was the place where administrative, political, commercial, social, cultural, and religious activities all took place. The Agora was the meeting grounds and the hangout spot for ancient Athenians, such as where members of the elected democracy assembled to discuss affairs of state, noblemen came to conduct business, where ordinary citizens got together to meet up with friends and watch performers, and where the famed philosophers dosed their listeners with wisdom. Lastly, the structure and layout of the Agora played a significant part in aiding all roles that took place within it. Many buildings, monuments, and objects made the Agora what it was. These buildings, along with monuments and small objects, helped illustrate the important role played in all aspects of public life. When it comes to the visual aspects of the Athenian Agora, you can tell that it's extremely beautiful. It was created to be an open space for all to use. Again, with the architectural layout of the Agora, it was created around the Panathenaic Way, a road that ran through the heart of Athens to the main gate of the city. The road was sacred, serving as a travel route for the Panathenaic festival held in honor of the city's patron goddess, Athena, every 4 years. Agoras were built along colonnades or rows of long columns in cannate stoa, also known as a long open walkway below the colonnades. They were strategically decorated with fountains, trees, and statues. It was also effectively decorated with the use of marble. Marble was an effective choice as it shows wealth and importance. Marble at the time was extremely expensive, and to use it to the extent that it was used was incredible. For example, from the Temple of Hephaestus to the Parthenon, marbles and beyond, marble has been used time and time again in Greek art and architecture to honor gods, celebrate beauty, and impress the public. Lastly, I would like to dive into connections. The Athenian Agora has many similarities to various different great monuments. For example, the White Temple Ziggurat and the ancient Egyptian pyramids have similar qualities that the Agora shares. All incredible monuments share the idea that height brings you closer to the gods. With the Agora, they placed the Temple of Hephaestus on the top of the largest hill. This allowed the common Athenian to feel closer to their city's patron goddess Athena. But with the ziggurat had the same idea, as it was the only accessible by the grand staircase. It traditionally symbolizes a link between the gods and the humankind, while with the pyramids they connected to the idea of the afterlife, and by having something as grand as a pyramid could connect them with Ra, the ancient sun god, for example. They were all grand, expensive, and luxurious buildings that were sacred and used for all to admire and for all to come together as a community.
Thus we see how the Agora embodies ancient Greece's foremost characteristics. The ancient Greeks' emphasis on scholarship that extended from math and the sciences to philosophy and rhetoric was promoted by the construction of the Agora, as we have discussed throughout the course of this video. The likes of Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, and Zeno roamed the cobbled streets of this communal masterpiece, contemplating topics both secular and religious that went on to shape the world. Ancient Greek ideals are clearly reflected in the artwork and architecture, as well as the layout of the Greek Agora, from the high classical quest to depict perfection and mimic nature and realistically represent reality, to their belief and reverence of a plethora of gods.